What's up, y'all, and welcome to the May 2024 Game Break. What's a Game Break, Brian? Great question. For those of you who don't know, or maybe checking this out for the first time, basically we talk things that are past, present, and future HTG without any gaming, although lots of the content is gaming related. So on that note, just want to remind everybody this is a Game Break, and we don't usually address the chat, as most of you have already been addressed and hung out quite a bit. Always love to see you guys early and, make some jokes like the Ford Borghini that Mike is going to be driving here pretty soon. That's pretty sweet. Anyways, hope you guys had a good couple of days without me. I guess it was really more of a day and a half, but still, we had a phenomenal time, and I'll go over great details on the Tesla trip here in a little bit. I got some photos, some breathtaking scenery, and some crazy stories as well. Like, I was not expecting to have all this extra content from the trip, but it ended up working out that way. So as per usual, let's go ahead and jump into things. First of all, welcome back. Want to say much love to you all. This first portion is always more about a thankfulness or thanking you guys than it is, about like, woo, look at my numbers, which sometimes it does seem that way, but I just want to make sure. Basically, this is just a way to sort of visualize how much love you guys continue to give and how much we love that you love what we're doing here. So on that note, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at last month. We had 202,483 subs. We were down a little bit, as we usually see that green plus 966 a little bit higher. Usually it's 1,000 plus. We've seen as much as like 3,500 in certain spurts. Now that was back during the COVID times when we were booming, but very different today. But fast forward to right now, pew, we actually flipped 203K this month. So that's a pretty big milestone. Roughly hitting, it's about 1,000 a month right now. As you can see, the number is back over 1,000, and that's feeling pretty good. View-wise, we were a little bit shy of what we were last month, right? Roughly about 20,000, but still right in that same realm, just shy of 700K. Watch time hours, about 40. So although the views were down a little bit, the watch time was pretty close. I mean, 1,000 is still a difference, but just love it. Love seeing this, without the back catalog and all of the continued Lego viewing, we probably wouldn't be able to be here chilling with you talking at this Game Break. So much love and big thanks to all of those who have been watching and continue to watch and will watch in the future. I see we got some new names popping in. Daniel showed up. Rob's out there chilling with Cameron too. Lady Madonna, not Lefty, my bad. Dan the Man, what is up? What is up? Welcome. Matt's out there too. Preston Bros Unite. Good to see you all. Welcome. Moving along, as we do have a pretty full Game Break this month. It's getting to be summertime again, so we're getting out a little bit more, and that's going to continue to happen, as even tomorrow, it's the first day of the month, we're actually attending a giant Volkswagen show, so I'm sure I'll have tons of photos. At this point, I'm 50-50 on racing myself, so I may have some racing videos, I may not. Ultimately, it's supposed to be 75-ish degrees out. For those of you who don't know, you have to wear pants and a helmet. Well, not all racers have to wear a helmet, but there's a certain speed that you have to wear a helmet, and I am unfortunately within that zone. So I have to wear a giant helmet and then pants, and you can't have windows down at all when you're racing. So you can have them down up till you stage, and then once you pull up into staging, you have to roll them up, and then you pull up to the actual line, and then you take off, you race, and when you're done, you can pop the roof, pop the windows, whatever. But up until that point, they don't like it, and they can ask you to stop racing. So last year, if you guys remember, I actually bought like this neck cooling device, but I was not really that impressed with it. It worked to an extent. It basically froze my neck area, which, lots of blood travels through that area, and it did sort of cool me a little bit, but it's like, minus 10 degrees in 30 seconds, like acting like it's really going to make you like freezing in a hot day, and it didn't work that way. So I sent it back. I don't have it this year. Now, the determining factor will likely be if Nam shows up and if Nam wants to race or not. As it sits, his car is expected to be loads faster than mine. And we'll see. I mean, he's never taken it to the track, so I may have a little bit of an advantage over that, but ultimately I don't have the right tires for my setup, so I probably would lose, and I don't want to lose. Speaking of, oh no, Nom's out there, race the Tesla. No, you wouldn't like that. That's where it gets a little questionable. The Tesla will give you a serious run for your money, bro. And I mean, I don't know how it would finish, but it would give you a serious run for your money. GTI, not so much. Not so much. So yeah, let's see here. What else we got? We got first big thing we need to talk about is the Lego vote. Some of you guys know the results already, but it was a pretty giant landslide. In fact, if you look, Lord of the Rings was a close second, if you consider a big gap of 19% close. But other than that, we'll see. So I'm curious to see, historically, the runner-up, second place, usually becomes the next voted game. So will Lego Lord of the Rings get it? Or will the game that gets pushed onto the list after Lego Marvel Superheroes gets pulled off of the list be a more dominant vote? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm curious. But for those of you who don't know, we have kicked off our Lego Marvel Superhero series. We are replaying that game after 11-year absence, and it's actually on Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, actually not tomorrow, Sunday morning. Tomorrow's only Saturday. It was a weird week this week with the wife having a couple of days off in the middle of the week and us going up north. Like, it felt like the weekend already. It feels like it's like an extended weekend right now. So I don't know what it kind of is, but definitely excited to get back to it. And I hope to see you guys there on Sunday. Looking forward to, this is actually amazing. Now, I'm bummed out. Some of you guys already know this, but some of you even got to experience it. Lots of people, depending on your local weather, they actually had access to see the northern lights across the United States, which is not common. Normally you got to go far away to see that kind of stuff. And of course, in the past, we've had eclipses and certain storms and all these different things. And every time we always try to stay up and see, and we never see anything. There was the shooting stars. We've seen a bunch of stuff, right? But we haven't seen it. So, anyways, I opted to not stay up. And Reese and a bunch of his friends went about 15 miles out of the city to this giant open area and got some pretty amazing photos. So because I didn't get to get any, I figured I'd share Reese's. Now, check this out. So a little bit of background here. The sky, according to them, didn't look like this. This photo and the next couple of photos I'm going to show you were actually taken on an iPhone. There is something about the iPhone's camera settings that really embellishes the colors, especially at night. Now, although it is not exactly how it looked, that is amazing. That photo is crazy. As the young ones say, that photo goes hard. But basically, no pictures show way better than the eye. Maybe, but basically, Reese has photos from his phone that were not nearly as vivid. Now, to be honest with you, I probably should have included one of those. I just went for the good ones. So that's Reese. That's actually Reese. One of his buddies took the photo. Here's another one. They had a camera with a tripod too. We're taking photos. So the camera with the tripod and the Android phones showed the same type of quality. The images looked almost identical. You get on an iPhone though, and it was totally 10 times more bright and awesome, right? I mean, really, that's what it is. So I see Elizabeth sliding in. What up? Good to see you, Liz. Who else? Anybody else? No. And so the Android phone and I believe it was a Nikon. I'm not sure what model of Nikon it was. It was a professional camera. The kid's actually a photographer. And so anyways, here's the third and final photo. Reese pointing at it. I'm so mad at myself for not staying up. That would have been worth it. And basically, if you dial it back quite a bit, probably about half as vivid. That's about what it is. What kid isn't a photographer these days? No, he's actually going to school for it. Like darkroom, learning the old school and the new school, all of it. Super talented, very, very different kid. He's pretty funny. He spends a lot of time over here. But anyways, pretty cool stuff. Again, pretty upset with myself that I didn't stay up and check that out. Now, this next section is going to get a lot of hate, at least from Nam, just because, and I did a little bit of work to try to give it a better angle, because that was the complaint I got. I can't even tell. It looks the same, man. That's that. Yeah, hate, hate, hate. There he is, letting it rain. But a couple weeks ago, I think I told you guys that my grill on my GTI. I mean, my car is 12 years old. It's not that new. It's got 110,000 miles, so it's getting like almost as old as I am. But you can see all that white sort of flake, if you will, across the red. Depending on the angle of the camera, it pops or cracks. See what I did there? But ultimately, I wasn't happy with it. And long story short, the actual VW emblem doesn't pop out. It's a big pain. You can't get a grill with a black emblem. So it was going to be a huge, complicated process to try to figure out how to get the new chrome badge to be black on the new grill. And I just opted to, go check out the wrap place. So here's another angle of it up close. I mean, it's also dirty, but ultimately you can see top and bottom. There's like bubbles and cracks and whatever. It's the clear coat peeling. And so I took it to the wrap shop, and this is what it looks like now. So, I mean, no one was complaining it wasn't the same angle, but I mean, come on, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. But I mean, it's still a 12-year-old grill, right? It's not perfect, but for what I paid for the wrap, it's a huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. But anyways, Mr. Critique out there. It looked like I found out with last light. It's just because from your short angle looking up at it, it just doesn't have the same effect. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about that. All right. So the next portion is actually like the highlight of what we have this month. A good friend of mine, Greg, who I've told many, many stories about over the years, he actually somehow was involved in an auction, and one of the things that was available to bid on was a private tour, which is kind of a funny way to put it, but a private tour through a giant car museum that is highly exclusive to people in the know. Like, you can't just walk up and buy tickets. Now, there's probably a way online and you follow a trail, but like, they don't even tell you where this place is. Like, when he bought the tickets, they wouldn't tell him where it was. He had to set up his reservation and then wait until like 5 days before or something like that to where it is. Turns out it's like 3 miles from my house. like it's super close. Like, I was blown away and kind of pissed that it's been there the whole time. I've also historically talked about a sandwich shop called Kazi's that makes these delicious sandwiches. And it's like a place that we used to go like 2 to 3 times a week in the summer back in the day. We loved it. It was like the best sandwich shop in town. And it's literally right across the street from Kazi's, but you can't see it. It's like there's like this weird warehouse up front, and you have to pull around. And anyways, I probably have already said more than I should anyways, but it was pretty amazing. It's called the Brothers Museum, or the Brothers Car Museum. And basically, my friend got us in, and we took a tour around the place. But like I said, it's kind of a funny way to word it, because basically they're like, here's the museum, have fun. We were like, okay. Now, as you go around, there are multiple sort of guides at different points, and we didn't really talk to many of them. We ended up having a wonderful conversation with a gentleman at the end who ended up being like the main guy who ran the museum. He wasn't the owner. He wasn't one of the brothers. He was just one of the guys that was selected locally to take care of the cars. So he knew pretty much everything about every car, and we were definitely, picking his brain and finding a bunch of stuff. But this video, I believe, is about 7 or 8 minutes long. So, I mean, like I said, it's a pretty decent chunk of stuff. I did put a little bit of music to it because I was maybe going to put it out as like a regular video too, but I don't think I will, mainly because the music I chose, I have a license for it for copyright, but I don't know how to upload it to the claim that's been filed against it. So right now, the YouTube video, this is a separate standalone video, but it's like being flagged, and I got to figure out how to upload that license and get it handled. But Brothers Car Garage. Brothers Car Garage. Sounds like something you'd see on like a Lightning McQueen video. So check this out. This is out front. Like before we even got in there, there was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That was just one of like 6 like exotic cars out front. As you can see, this is the very entrance, the very beginning, and you can choose to go pretty much any direction you want. There are sort of groupings of cars, like you'll see like some Mercedes together, the Lambos, the Bugattis, the Mustangs, like, but everything's kind of separate too. But ultimately, I'm not gonna like narrate and say everything, but I mean, here we go. We got some Lambos, a whole bunch. We got a Countach, we got a Diablo, we got a Murcielago, a Aventador. Pretty awesome stuff. Then we got some Mercedes that was like super awesome. I believe there was a couple Lotai there. Isn't that how you say it? Lotuses, Lotai. This is, I believe, as a Maserati. Yeah, it's a Maserati like jet boat for one. They had some really random stuff. A lot of these cars are very limited edition or have some sort of unique attribute, like, you know, it was one of 2 convertibles made that year. Or, you know, like this guy. I mean, a lot of them had plaques that told crazy stories. That looks like something straight out of Miami Vice. A lot of these cars actually did in this little section here. Lots of Porsches. Like the Porsches. Reese is a big fan of the Porsche. Now, this is a Bazzarini Radaleka. I don't know how to say it. But it was like a very unique, very limited build. Pretty cool Hemi Cuda. They had so much money and just you know, car stuff like the turnstiles that spin the cars around. That's Greg right there with the shirt on and the blue hat. He's like, "Oh, what the hell? You filming me? Get out of the way." But yeah, so they were getting into the Italian section. Italiano, some Ferrari. In fact, we got the hydroplane, one of 2 Ferrari hydroplanes. That was actually a crashed Ferrari engine that was used to power that thing. That was one of the statues they had out in the Ferrari plant. I don't remember which one, but there was also, I didn't get it. I thought you could see it from this angle right here, but there was the personal statue, the horse statue of Enzo Ferrari. It was much smaller than that gold one. It was all black. Very cool. Testarossa. More random Ferraris, couple Ducatis chilling over here too, and then we got Bugatti. So like these little Turner things, I mean, those things are like, I don't know, I think they're like $65,000 each or something, they said. And there was like at least 20 of them on various cars, a couple of Bugattis. So here's one, I believe that's the Chiron. And then we're looking at the Veyron, I think. I may have that backwards, but they actually just quit making their big beefy one, the 1400 horsepower. They actually finished the last run of them like last week or this week or something. Nice little 918? Very unique Porsche. I'm not sure I ever really liked that. It had a lot of Mercedes attributes to it. But I mean, it was just crazy amounts of stuff. Now we're starting to get into... I believe these are the Salines. Yep. We got all sorts. There's Jilly Bean. And yeah, so check out all these signs. I mean, the signage alone, I mean, was crazy. I mean, that's not stuff that was just recently made. That's like vintage stuff that's been around forever. Whole bunch of Shelby Cobras. Bunch of history on the wall here as I get to the end of this swoop. You know, all these muscle dudes were reading the crap out of it. I got spotted with the camera and got a dirty look, so I turned it off. Look at the arse on that thing. I'm not even sure what. It's some sort of special Mustang. There was only like 2 of them made. Look at all those bad boys. Woo! Now, this is the Corvette section. Remember I mentioned earlier, they had a run of like from 62 to like 79, where they had at least one of every year and every version of every year. I mean, here's some more. These are more like late 70s, early 80s. I mean, it was just amazing. Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, they had, like, look at this Duster. This is like a special, not a pace car, but some sort of special event car. And then, like, right behind it, you can see there's a Gremlin. I'm about to show you the front of that thing. There's Jilly on the right, and that's Tiffany. That's Greg's wife. One that I pissed off about the Lambo doors. This thing was beefcake. Had a crazy pro charge. It was like Al Unser or some famous racer, like some dude drove it or had it. I don't remember who. I should have done better documenting, but at the same time, I didn't. I could have made this a 3-hour tour. I mean, you could have gotten to Gilligan's Island and back in the time that look at this thing. Why does it have a big shifter on the back? It was one of 2 made, and I still don't know why they even made either of them. Very cool, unique car. Lots of different Camaros. Have you been there before, Mike? Yeah, I mean, it's unreal what they got here. So it's my understanding that the dad of the 2 brothers were he was more of like a Dodge and Hemi guy. The younger brothers, the sons, are the ones that have brought in more of like the Porsche, Ferrari, and that's how it was explained to us. There's old Fred Gibbs. The first ZL1 of 69 produced. The very first one. That's crazy. Look at this funny car, too. Ain't nothing funny about it. Look at all the arses on those ones. I mean, they're just, like, amazing. Like I said, I had to, like, speed some of these up just because it was taking so long. When I first did this video, it was, like, 17 or 18 minutes long. I had to cut some videos out. I literally left out probably a quarter of the clips that we took, too. I just tried to get the best of the best. Kind of show off the entire collection, even if it was quick. This was actually used in Joe Dirt. So that Kid Rock drove that. This is that Porsche that I was talking about where we sort of ran into the guy who runs the museum, and he started telling us all this stuff. It was funny because I was like, what's this? What's that? Is that intercooler? Is that, what is that there? No. And he was like answering every question. I thought I'd stumped him a couple of times, but he knew everything. And Greg's like, I bet you this thing is so rowdy. And he's like, surprisingly, it's not that loud. And Greg's like, yeah, until you get on it. He's like, no, I've let her rip a couple of times. And we're like, what? You're driving this thing? Like, maybe he was selling wolf tickets and lying to us. I'm not sure, but it was amazing. Kiwi, what up, man? Yes, 332 cars was apparently what they had at the time of the recording of the video. They had like this video presentation on like multiple TVs all over the place. I never paid any attention to it. Jillian watched it for a few minutes and she said it was like 332 or 335 or something like that. Just amazing though. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions. I don't know if there's a actual price tag available out there for what the collection is believed to be worth, but I mean, some of those cars are, like those Bugattis obviously have, some of those other older cars maybe in that borderline getting to being priceless, right? Like 17 miles on a 1962 Corvette, right? I mean, it's crazy how unique and just like prestigious and pristine. I mean, a lot of those cars were showroom quality. Some of them were straight off the showroom floors. Crazy. So you did go. When let's see here. Mopar, brother. Yeah, so you've been there? Still not Toyota. So many one of one. Yes. All right, so you guys have probably heard too, we actually got a Tesla after a long time. What up, dude? After a long time of talking about it and ordering 2 ID4 Volkswagens and not claiming either of them due to, basically we ordered them when the tax credits were available, and that's really the only way we wanted to get into something. We didn't want to spend everything we had and risk it on the EV life because we didn't know if we were going to like it, how it was going to pan out. And ultimately we got crazy discounts off the federal and state, like ridiculous amounts. And so that helped tremendously. And then we actually got a really great price for our Honda CRV, and it all worked out. Basically what we did was we went to CarMax. Well, we went to Tesla first here in town and found out that the car she wanted was in Washington. That's as far as we got. We never, for some reason, I heard Buddy say Vancouver. Jillian says he never said Vancouver, but I'm sure he said Vancouver. But it turned out to be Liberty Lake, Washington. Liberty Lake, Washington is actually east of Spokane. It's basically on the Idaho border, like the northern Washington, Idaho border. Like it's right at the tip of, like, it's crazy. Coeur d'Alene, have you ever been there? It's a long drive. Mike was just there not too long ago. So anyways, we went to CarMax after we figured out the car and everything. We then got a quote and got it verified that that was going to be what we would get for the car. And then we asked them, like, hey, is this restricted to here? And they were like, no, you can actually get this deal at any CarMax across the United States. And I was like, okay, well, obviously I'm not going to want to drive to Florida and trade it in now, but like, what's the mileage limit? And they were like, well, we normally have like a 1,500 when we sell cars. We're pretty flexible about driving miles. And I was like, well, what about driving to Spokane? And he's like, what is that, like 400 miles or something? And I was like, something like that. And he's like, oh, you'd be fine. So we then called Spokane and we're like, hey, is this still true? And they were like, yeah. So we lined everything up with the Tesla and we drove the wife's Honda CRV up to Spokane, stayed a night in a hotel. And then we went to Tesla, got the Tesla, drove the Tesla and the Honda over to CarMax, which was literally like 7 miles. Like, it was amazing how well this worked out. Nothing has ever worked out like this for us. Nothing ever. And it almost didn't 2 different times. Technically, if I'm being real technical, it almost didn't happen 4 different times. Maybe even 5, if I'm being a little flexible. You guys are probably like, what the crap are you even talking about? The first incident was the day before we left. My wife actually misplaced the title and the registration. Without those 2 things, we can't sell the car. Without selling the car, we really couldn't feel confident about buying a new car. We already have 3 cars. We don't need 4 cars. So that was a panic attack and a half. We found it. Everything was fine. We took off. We left. We got about 2 hours shy of where we needed to be. And we were driving in the fast lane and there was 2 lanes. It was a 3-lane highway, but where we were, there was an on-ramp. So there was 4 lanes for a short period of time. My wife was in the fast lane and one of those old, like, cargo Chevy vans, you probably have seen them the most with like churches and schools and things like that. Not a school bus, but like one of those big vans, right? Comes shooting across all 4 lanes, doesn't see us. Jillian reacted so quick, I couldn't believe it. But the problem was, to avoid that person, we had to swerve left. We found ourselves in oncoming traffic. I am not kidding you. And there was a car coming right at us. So my wife pulled one of the... I was like in shock. I looked at her. I said, oh my God, you just saved our lives. You literally just saved our lives. And then we both threw out the bird out the window and kept on rolling. That was time number 2. So we go, do the car exchange. We're on our way home. And so without going into a crazy explanation about Tesla's charging, you don't always charge to 100%. And if you if you like map out where you're going, the car will tell you the best way to do it, to optimize your trip. So like, you're not waiting, you're not, you know what I mean? So, it told us we had to charge at 2 different spots on the way home. The first spot we pull into, before we're there, we're literally 11 miles out. And Jillian looks in the rear view and she goes, oh my God. Oh no. And I turn around and I see this truck and it's barreling down the fast lane. We were in the fast lane at the time. She shot over into the slow lane and here comes this truck doing probably 80, maybe 85 miles an hour, which isn't crazy fast. But he had one of those trailers hooked up to it with the wheels that are about this big that look like they should go on like a kid's bike or something. Like not even like a bicycle, like a toddler's bike. Little tiny wheels. And this trailer is doing the craziest speed wobble and it was shaking the truck. And you could see Buddy hit the brakes and try to get it under control. And then he juice it again and take off. And so Jillian gets over, the car gets in front of us, and then the guy like passes us, and I think he realizes I'm about to kill everybody. So he slows down and gets in the slow lane. And this thing, we're watching it. We're the car right behind it. We're watching this trailer just bounce all over the place. And I'm like, man, that is scary stuff. And Jillian goes, we got 9 miles till we're gonna be there. And I go, well, let's just be cautious and be behind him. I'd rather be behind him than next to him or whatever. You never know. And she goes, forget this. Boom, punches it. We go screaming by him. Take the exit, park, charge for 20 minutes. Okay. Again, back to what I said originally. You punch in your itinerary. It tells you everywhere to go, how to stop, when to charge. It even preps your battery as you're pulling up to the charging station. It does what they call, what do they call it? It's like power cycling or something. I don't know. But they're preparing the battery. And so it's super smart. It knows all the stops. It knows everything. We get about 2 miles out of Hood River and we come to a complete stop. There's nothing on the GPS. Nothing, right? And I go, wow, hopefully it's not a wreck, but it looks like it's a wreck. I wonder if it was that dude in the trailer. Guess what? It was. Buddy had, we don't know exactly what happened, but Buddy's truck was sideways with the trailer jackknifed behind it and 3 cars. No, 1 car. There was 1 car. 1 car. They were literally pulling a lady, helping a lady get out of a door that could only open about this much. They all seemed to be fine. The guy that was in the truck was in the back of the car, police car, getting arrested. And so we keep driving, right? We finally get through it. We're like, oh my God, that dude almost killed us and he almost killed somebody else too. Like, that's wild. They looked to be okay, so that was fine. So we keep driving. And we're driving and Jillian's got it pegged. We got cruise control on and she's in the slow lane. There's only 2 lanes on I-84 where we were. And she's in the slow lane and there was a car slowly passing her, but there was a truck behind her. And I don't remember what she said, but she said something like, sorry, buddy, I'm not going to go any faster. That's why I'm in the slow lane. And as she says that, we pass an on-ramp, right? An on-ramp, another on-ramp situation. A Dodge Charger goes flying by us in what would basically be the on-ramp, which turns into the safety lane, almost clips us. I am not making this up. I wish we had a dash cam so I could show that we could actually report this stuff. Guy goes screaming by. We're doing 75 miles an hour, pegged at the speed limit. Buddy goes flying by us like we're standing still. I'm sure he was doing 90 plus. I am sure of it. And then we see him up ahead. And keep in mind, we're only like 2 miles away from the last wreck that we just had to stop for. And I see him just weaving in and out, playing Frogger. Till we can't see him anymore. 8 minutes later, we got another stop. It's not on Google. So we're like, this must be fresh. And I go, oh, what if it's the dude in the blue Dodge? And Jillian goes, I wouldn't be surprised, but no way. No way. How many times have you seen an idiot on the road doing something stupid? And then you're like, oh, I wonder if that cop pulled him over. Or I wonder if that accident is... And it's never that person. Never that person. It's always somebody else, something else, right? It was the Dodge. And it was in the middle of the road sideways. The whole front end was smashed. 3 cars along the side rail. And I won't lie, I said some pretty profane things, looking him right in the eye. We literally, there was 2 lanes, as I mentioned, right? 1 lane was blocked because of his car, but it was sort of so we had to like weasel around. So the cars were on the side of the road and his car was sort of in the fast lane, and so we had to like weave through. So only 1 car was getting through at a time. And there was 2 lanes of lots of cars. And we were literally like, I could have spit on him. I wouldn't have, but I was within 8 feet or so. And I looked him right in the eyes and I said, you dip. And he looked, and he was like on the phone going, I swear I wasn't driving like an idiot. And I was like, oh, I wish I could tell that person on the phone the truth, because you were driving like an arsehole. And you might have actually hurt somebody. I looked today to see if there was any reports, but there wasn't. But All right, all of the story time aside, let's look at some photos. First of all, this was our journey there. 432 miles is the journey from our house to where we were going. It was a beautiful day. In fact, most of the time we saw nothing but blue sky. There was a few times we drove under some clouds. Like there was some pretty big storms off, east or west of us. We never really saw them head on, but there was one giant cloud that we went under that actually drizzled on us for about 8 seconds. But it was more of a bug fest than it was a rain fest. But later that night, when we got to our hotel, we ordered some food, and it ended up being literally right across the street. In fact, this picture was taken from the car pickup to go side thing, whatever they call it, curbside pickup. And we were looking over at our hotel. If you look, there's the sign that says number 2 on it, and then there's a truck right below that sign, like way in the distance in the back. If you look over that truck, there's actually a building there. It's like a brown tannish building. That is our hotel. So we were like right under the storm. It was thunder and lightning for probably a half an hour to an hour, pretty good. And ultimately it passed and it became a beautiful day and it was awesome. We made it to Tesla the next morning. It was a nice sunny day. I had never seen a Tesla Cybertruck up close before. And, Raised asked a good question that I didn't even really know until we were there. And unfortunately, I did not get a picture of it, but I got this one, and this one can explain it pretty good. These are called Cybertrucks. But if you look at them, they're pretty ugly. I mean, unless you like just looking at, semi-polished metal. Fingerprints and stuff are a nightmare on them, I can tell you, because I was touching them and looking at it. But, I mean, ultimately, they're very unique and different. But the truck aspect of it is very different because it is actually a truck. There is a truck bed. In fact, that black portion of the back hatch there is kind of reminiscent of what like a tonneau cover or, I'm sure there's 100 different other brands that make covers like that, but that's literally just a hatch cover or a bed cover. The back portion there actually folds down and there's a tailgate there, and that top black piece there comes off completely and it functions just like a truck. I did not know that until I saw it in their showroom floor. But it was pretty cool though, because they had just gotten a shipment and there was multiples. In fact, you can see there's 5 in that photo right up close, and there was actually 3 or 4 more off in the back left, but you can't really see them in this photo. But I was a little bit, not starstruck, but like car struck, I guess, because it's not very often you see that many. Now, ironically, we drove by the Tesla here in Salem today when Reese and Roderick and I went to lunch, and there was 4 at our Tesla here in town too. So they're definitely becoming more and more available. And speaking of available, we finally got our car. You can see old Jilly Bean is sitting there happy as can be. We just got our first full charge, and it was compliments of Tesla. It's really weird how it works. In fact, they came and told us that as soon as you accept the final agreement on the app on your phone, it becomes your car, and it automatically turns the charging application into your payment system, whatever payment system you connect it to, whatever card or whatever bank account. So basically, he told us, don't accept the agreement until your car is fully charged. And so basically, much like a lot of other cars, they recommend only charging to 80% for daily use, but it actually gets up to 100% if you want to. And so because it was a long trip, we opted to make sure that it was a full go. But as it turns out, we actually didn't need it. We had to stop at the same place anyways. Our charge time was less at the second stop. But I mean, I kind of think back about everything, and if we would have been like 2 minutes different in our time, or maybe even a minute different in our time frame, we could have easily been in either of those wrecks. And I mean, that trailer, that was the scariest part of it. I mean, not really. I mean, the big van shooting over 4 lanes and knocking us into oncoming traffic, basically, that was the scariest one. But I mean, it just happened so fast. And I mean, really, we were looking at a car coming at us, but it was 100 feet away or more. So it's not like, I mean, we weren't that close. The van almost hitting us was that close. But the rest of it, I mean, I don't know. It was really, I was just absolutely, oh my God, just get us home, just get us home, just get us home. This is the front of this thing, and let me tell you, as soon as I saw it, I told her, I said, we are going to catch some bugs. If you think about the design of this, I'm sure it's aerodynamic to an extent, but it seems like it's more of a wind catcher than it is anything else. And it would prove to catch a lot of bugs, but not because of crappy weather. Look at how nice that was. I mean, that cloud, like, it was funny. Half the trip, we were looking out the windows, and it sort of looked like the XP home screen. I don't know if you guys remember the Windows XP home screen. This isn't the photo, but like you'd look out on the right at times and it would be green and grassy and just beautiful. And then the sky being all pat, like it sort of reminded me of the old XP days. But back to the bugs. That was at, let's see, where was our first? We stopped at Kennewick. Kennewick was our first charge, and like got out and I took a photo there. And I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of bugs. And oh my God, that's a $2 super chat. Teflon with a $2 super chat. $2 for 132 of a charge. Bro, actually, you know what? A full charge, an 80% charge is costing like 17 bucks, 16 bucks. And that's at peak charging times at public stations. So, I mean, we get like, what, like 180, no, 250, 240 miles or something like that. Off like, you know, so I mean, you know, gas, we'll have to see. I mean, there's all these people that boast, oh my God, it's so much cheaper. I mean, when you charge at home, I think it is a lot cheaper. But when you're charging out in the wild constantly, I don't know if it's that much cheaper. You know, and those stations definitely, you know, hit you up. If lots of people are using it, it's actually more expensive for the kilowatt hours. It's really weird how it works, and we're still learning. But once we get our power charger set up at home, in fact, we've got a mobile charger right now, which charges very minimally off regular power plugs. But our electrician's been sick for the last few days. In fact, he might not even make it to the Volkswagen show tomorrow. He's telling me that he's 50-50 at this point, which I think that's what Nam is too. But I don't think Nam's 50-50 because of health. I think he's just 50-50 because he doesn't want to get off his arse and drive across town, which I don't blame him. He's got a little bit longer jaunt than I do. It's only about a 20-minute drive for me, where it's probably like a 45-minute drive for him. But anyways, last but not least, one last bug check-in. This was in just outside of Portland. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. So definitely new, different, fun, awesome. Love it. It's stupid smart. Like, it really is. Like, even if you have any question, like if you're missing something or you don't know where a feature is, you can type it into the search and it'll pull it up and tell you how to. Like, it is so crazy. Crazy. It went from vanilla to French vanilla. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that might be like a chocolate chip, bro. Like, that might be like a chocolate chip. And maybe not. But wife loves it. You know, financially, it's literally like we did the math on it. Our average gas consumption for the Honda and then the payment for the Honda was like 400-ish, give or take the month. Our payment is like 409. So, I mean, we are going to have some charging to go on top of that, at least for the first couple of weeks while we don't have our supercharger at home. But, I mean, it's almost a straight wash for us. I mean, it's pretty close. And we went from a 2015 Honda CR-V that I didn't fit in, I didn't like. I mean, it definitely was good to us in a lot of ways, but also just like, I mean, the legroom for the passenger side is crazy, and I don't like driving that thing. I was kind of a thing we discussed before the car was even purchased. Like, this is your car. You're buying it. Because before we had the two GTIs. They were basically the same car, and it was like, oh, I'm taking the 4-door. Oh, I'm taking the 2-door. Like, it didn't matter. One was a manual, one was an automatic, but beyond that, they were the same car. Same wheels, you know, basically the same car. Same intake, same exhaust, like it was like the same car. But ultimately, you know, I told her, I said, I'm not a fan of this car. There's a Honda. I'm a Volkswagen guy. Let's go. But you know, we'll see about the Tesla. I haven't driven it yet. I offered to if she needed me to, but she knew that I was like, not like, let me drive it, right? Like, I mean, it's cool and everything, but it's like, it's weird. Like the way, like, and I was the way, I don't know if you know how the Teslas work, but like there is a brake pedal and a gas pedal. But I think Jillian's used the gas pedal maybe 2 or 3 times other than putting it in gear, because you have to put your seatbelt on, which they just recalled 125,000 Teslas today. No kidding. 125 got called in because when you put your seatbelt on, or when you don't put your seatbelt on and you engage it into park or reverse or any of that, it won't chime if you don't have your seatbelt on. It's supposed to chime. Ours chimes like crazy. We're like, shut up. We're just getting in the car. Because like traditionally, Jillian would get in the car, put her foot on the brake, hit the start button on the Honda, right? Reach up, plug it in, sit there, wait for the cold start to go through, which takes like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then slam it in gear and be out. So same thing. She gets in the car, puts her foot on the brake. Oh, excuse me. Instead of pushing the power button, she pulls it back into drive or reverse and then puts her. So there's going to be some process change that'll have to happen, because I'm sure she's tired of hearing that thing chime at her already. But, and yes, by the way, I know this is like 10 plus minutes ago, but Red Robin was delicious. And you know what? Big time shout out to our hotel room, because they had one of those little mini fridges, and the mini fridge had a freezer that had a spot big enough for our mud pie to sit in while we chomped down our dinner. I'm not even lying. It was like too good to be true. Like the whole trip was amazing. Like normally when we go to Eagle Crest or something, there's always something that happens, like there's a moment where like one of us will upset the kid or the other person or something. There was none of that. Like it was like an amazing, like I said, no rain, other than almost being killed a couple of times by other drivers. Like that one guy that guy was driving like an arsehole. Like he really was. Like, listen, I've been known to even drive fast at times or whatever, but I definitely am not the guy that's going to run people off the road to win a race or any of that. And like, there's way too much of that right now. People just don't care. Wait until Reese figures out how to install Steam games on them. Yeah, well, the first thing that we're trying to work on that we were hoping we could get done before we got home last night was previously certain models of Teslas have had an add-on where you can change your horn, and there is a fart horn. And so we were going to pull up and be like, on Reese, but we didn't ever. Like we were kind of, both times we charged, we were like talking about like, oh my God, remember like 20 minutes ago when we just almost died? We were totally caught up in that. But Energy says he hasn't been to Red Robin in literal years. We don't go super often. We used to go a lot, but they did a menu change at one point, and my item stayed there. Jillian's item went. And I don't remember what it was. It was like some sort of like a chicken Sammy or something. I don't even remember what it was. It was like 10 years ago. So because of that menu change, there's nothing that she really likes there. I mean, there's like a turkey croissant or something, but it's like a $15 meal, and it's literally like a $6 sandwich, if that, right? Like, so it just doesn't seem good. Now, I don't know what's going on, and maybe Nam knows something about this. Last week, I got a video card update for my drivers. Oh, it looks like I have another one, so maybe they fixed this. I'm getting major distortions and like these weird grid patterns. Like if you could think of like a Band-Aid, like it's rectangular almost in shape, right? And like it has like little dots on it. Like I'm getting these weird like waffly looking, Band-Aid looking things on my screen that keep popping up. And I thought it was just me and this computer, but then I noticed it happening on this computer, which both run NVIDIA drivers and video cards. And then I went downstairs and I was talking to Reese, and he was loading up a game and he couldn't even play it. It was like doing this weird, like literally like flashing thing. It was like, it would flash the game, flash his background, flash the game, flash background. And it was just like, da, 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 da. And he had to close it. And as soon as he closed it, everything was fine. And he's having issues with it too. So I'm wondering if maybe there's an issue with the current, but like I said, I'm just noticing that there is a new driver. I just got it like 2 days ago, right before I left. And now there's another one. So I'm hoping that fixes it. But at like times it's like, well, this one doesn't have an update. Weird. This one does, but this one doesn't. different cards. They are different cards. This one's a crappy GTX. This one's an RTX. So only a 3070. All right, guys, I'm getting pretty much to the end of the portion. I do want to remind you guys that at some point soon, I will be bragging about getting one of these. I was told the other night that I now am officially bound to getting a white one because my wife got a white car with a black roof, and that's ultimately what this is. Currently, is what I drive right now, so we kind of have matching cars. And speaking of which, did you know that the Teslas do not have sunroofs at all? I was kind of bummed when I read that, but they technically, it's weird. They're dubbed sunroofs, but they don't open or move or do anything. But it's wild though, because you sit in the car and you look up and it's glass all the way back. It's like huge. And it's kind of weird, like looking up and it's like you can see right out the car and the sun comes down. But what's weird is it diffuses it. The guy actually said it diffuses 99% of UV rays. So he still recommended not looking directly at the sun, especially without sunglasses on through it. But like, it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I've had no issues. Well, maybe plate it up. Is that what it is? Maybe that game doesn't cause any issues. It's not a powerful enough request for the video card. You're like, bro, I haven't played that in 7 months. I know. I tried to throw up the grossest, kiddiest, basicest game that you've played in the past. All right. So what do we got here? Oh yeah, stream schedule. We got Thief Sim on Monday. It's actually going to be our final one. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to actually stick around and try to go extra if I need to. But if I remember correctly, and I didn't stream on Monday this week, so it'd be a whole week back. So that's a long ways for OMBB. But ultimately, I think I only have like 4 trophies left. And they're, in a way, they're kind of tied together. But it might be a couple more. But it seems doable. Like, I feel like I'm close. And I'll, you guys will know on Monday when you see the thumbnail. If there's a platinum trophy on the thumbnail, I'm expected to get it. If not, there might be 2 more of those. And then once we make the switch, it'll likely be Food Truck Simulator. There's a possibility of a couple other things, but I'm leaning towards the Food Truck Simulator. It just looks fun. I picked it up on sale a couple weeks ago. It's been sitting ready to go. I feel like, it could be worthy. You never know. Tuesday is going to be Killer Clowns for at least 1 more week. I very much enjoyed it. I don't, as much as I don't like the proximity chat because of what happened, basically I can't control it. That's the downside of prox chat, is that I cannot control, at least I don't think I can. I might be able to turn it off, I guess, but I don't know. But I walked up to some real players instead of bots, because I was playing bots for most of the time. But I walked up to some real players, and they were like, "Oh, beep! We got to get the beep out of here. What the beep is that? Beep, 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 beep." And I was like, I turned around and just booked it. But ultimately, I very much enjoyed that game, and I'll be back for that. As it sits, I feel like I would be selling us all short if I didn't play through the other side of Alone in the Dark. It is actually one of the lowest, besides Gamebreaks, one of the lowest analytically driven streams that we do. Even less than Apex, which is crazy because Apex is like next to nothing. But, I got to have that balance of games I want to play and like to play and games that do well. So I don't always focus on that. But I figured we'd at least give it another week or 2 and see how that story goes. Seems like there's a ton more puzzles and stuff to do as the male character. I can't remember what his name is, but it'd be cool to see that. And then we'll determine if I make it through whether or not I'll do like the speed run or whatever. And then Friday will continue to be back and forth between Apex and Fortnite, and unless something changes. I know Apex hasn't been a good hitter as far as analytics, like I just mentioned, but Fortnite's been much better. However, this new season is even worse than last season, and I didn't want to play last season. Like, there's certain things that bum me out in that game, and I wish I could play. Like the building, I'm terrible at building, so I thrive in the no build. But the no build has all of these like extra buffs and like guns and stuff that like make the game very overpowered if a person has it. Like right now, there's like these tanks that you can more or less fortify. It doesn't make any sense to me. And like I'm seeing Ninja and like the pro players go on terrible rants because they'll squad wipe somebody in a real game, and then some dude will come over the hill in a gun with or in a truck with a turret and pop, he's dead. Game over. He finished 67th after wiping a squad because some dude got to a truck before him. And how I am, like, there's certain things that I don't really like partaking in. Like, if it feels gross to me and if I can literally just kill you in one shot or whatever, I feel like I'm cheating and I don't like that. And I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of me. But and then, of course, we got Thursday and Saturday off. And then last but not least, you guys already know, we got Sunday, Lego, Marvel, superheroes, which has been pretty awesome. So I'll be happy to return back to that sooner than later. But yeah, so we got lots of stuff planned as far as that goes. We kind of know what we're doing for once in a while. As it sits, it sounds like the Dude Man will be on a summer vacation for, a couple weeks. That may change. In fact, I haven't checked to see, has he been streaming? Oh, he did stream today. So, Tude might not be as unreachable as he had been in the past. Now, his kids are on summer break. His wife works in the school district, so she is also on summer break. So, part of it's like me, right? Like, I want to capitalize with family and do stuff, which is why most of July I plan to not be around. But that being said, like, at some point, you kind of like want to find spots in between and fill in some of those cracks with some game time. And so we'll see how it all goes. But, obviously with Fortnite being booty and Apex not having duos right now, I don't know if they've switched that back. I haven't heard or seen anything. It's solos and trios. I don't really like playing with randos, and I really don't find the same joy playing solo, mainly because it's just me talking to myself. Not only that'll annoy anybody after a few minutes. So, ultimately we'll see how that goes. We may shift Friday into the dark zone where we actually see no games on Friday. Maybe we have a 3-day weekend there. We'll see how it all works out. Ultimately, as you guys know, I love Apex and I'd love to play it, but if I don't have a team, and it can't be just anybody, right? Like, that's part of it too. Like, the interaction dynamic between me and whoever it is has to be, up to speed and like, I obviously at times make fun of certain things and I don't want to hurt feelings and stuff, which has happened in the past, and I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to feel like there's picking on. Like, even though Nam and I talk trash to each other all the time and we are picking on each other, like, we both just laugh it off and don't care. Like, I don't care what he says about me, and he certainly doesn't care about things I say about him. So yeah. Hey, what up? Hey, it's been a minute. You got a birthday tomorrow. Woot! Happy birthday. It's Chacho's birthday today. Just think, if he was here, I'd sing to him. You out there, Chacho? Champion 5th place Apex player. So wait, your Apex game is stronger than your Noodle game? Crazy. Good to know. Good to know. Thought about having an adult beverage tonight with this, but I wanted to get through it with I cry every night because of the short jokes. I almost believe that, bro. But no, I don't. Let's be honest. Nobody's crying any tears over short jokes. All right. Well, I do have Patreon shouts, and then of course, if you guys have any questions or statements or whatever's, you're more than welcome to chime in or whatnot. But real quick, let's go ahead and give some love to our $5 and up Patreon supporters. Woo to the who! Thanks to you and everybody else too. These guys just have gone above and beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Some of them have been Patreon members for years, and we love it. Love it. All but that Legos guy. Hey. Last but not least, with the Patreon shouts, we got, of course, should let you know if you want to be on this list, which is possible. Head on over to patreon.com/happythumbsgaming. Choose a $5 or up tier to get a shout out. Of course, you could make a $1 or a $2 support donation as well. That'll get you on our Happy Thumbs Namer Wall of Fame. Basically, it's just a place where everybody who's ever donated is on there. You only have to donate once to get there. And in fact, I actually need to add Lizzie, who last week was gifted a membership and came in and said thanks, and then went above and beyond too and went and donated $5 over at our store at htgmerch.com. which she probably should have just bought some. I would have much rather preferred she donated, got some stickers out of it, right? $5 from the sticker. The donation was very kind. She also became a supporter on Patreon at $2 and up. So I need to add her to the wall of fame. And let's see here. Cool. And yeah, so, oh yeah, by the way, good news. Not really. It's kind of funny. So I applied for a digital code for a game that came out today, actually. It's called Hypercharged Unboxed. It's been a PC game for a long time, but ultimately, I didn't get the code until today. But funny enough, it's on Game Pass. So it's like, what the crap? All right, back to Patreon. We got $10 and up. We got Dougie Fresh. Thank you so much, Doug. It's glorious to have you back in the mix. Although you're not an everyday dude yet. We're prepping and getting ready for things to come. And even maybe some behind the scenes stuff too. So that's actually pretty exciting. So big shout out, much love for the support on Patreon. At $10 and up too, we also got John Bondi. John has been a huge force in the donation category and major supporter for a long time. And we want to give a big shout out and special thanks to John for his $10 and up support there. Next up, we got Michael Gersberg. Today's special word is Teflork. Teflork. Do the Teflork. Do the Teflork. Good to see you, Michael. Well, actually, good to see you on the list here. Thanks for your support. I know you'll watch the video and drop a comment, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Next up, last but not least, we've got Bonnie Miller. Thank you so much for your support, Bonnie. Much love. I hope you're doing well. We'd love to hear from you. It's been a minute, but hopefully things are great. And that wraps up our Patreon stuff. So, check it out. Teflon with another $2 super chat. All right. Now, one thing that we seem to be missing here. Yeah, what is going on here? This is being redonkulous. What did he say? Did he just say redonkulous? Yes, I did. That's exactly what I said. All right. No, thank you. I'm not trying to. All right. What do you got here? What? Oh, you're going to play that game on me. Okay. Hold on here. What'd you guys think of the Brothers Car Museum? Well, I'm trying to figure this all out here. Come on. It's so weird how it does this. It's like not loading. It's like the page is loaded, but the chat is not. It's just a giant empty box. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. MJ, your Lego Marvel videos helped me get 100% completion. Awesome. Glad to hear it. We got lots of other videos, Lego and more. If you need any links to anything, have any questions about anything, we'd be happy to help out. Appreciate you swinging by and saying hey, and of course, kind words as well. With Nam in the chat out there, we don't get a lot of kind words, so it's nice to get some of that balance. And on that note, Car Museum looked pretty cool. Yeah, indeed, Arini. I'm curious to see how Mike got in. Like, because I mean, it's my understanding that it's like super top secret, don't tell anybody, hush hush stuff. But obviously he's been there, so I'm wondering how he got in. 5-piece coming up. What do we got? We got Ben. We got Cha-Cha. Happy birthday, dude. Yeah, boy. We got Phantom. We got Lady Madonna, who is also here. Congrats, lady. And we also got Dandelion Knight. I almost said King. Dandelion Knight. Let's say you take that back. I didn't say anything nice. You didn't. The balance is. You're saying the mean things. MJ saying the nice things. Trying to keep the balance. Which is pretty tough because, I mean, you're like a little feather over there with your small little self. All right. Well, hey, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this month's Game Break. Surprisingly, it was only an hour. I thought we were going to be more in the hour and a half-ish range. Not today. Tesla's been awesome. Car Museum was awesome. Tomorrow we're doing the Volkswagen show. Definitely excited for that. Nam, are you coming? Nam, are you coming? $2 for a short nom joke. A nom walked into the bar, asked for a phone book to sit on before he could order a drink. No, I don't know. I don't have. They're all spontaneous. They all happen as they go. Like, you know, you're not tall enough to ride this ride, that kind of thing. You know. Negatory, you're not going? Wow, bro. You really that intimidated my car beating yours? I mean, I guess that would be kind of frustrating, but just know that you won't be missed. I mean, I was gonna buy your hot dog for you, hot dog and a beer, but I guess I'll just get an extra one of both. Nom is about as short as your list of short jokes. So you're tall? I mean, I'm more of a spontaneous joke deliverer. I don't like, there's not a lot of premeditating that happens. Like, I don't plan out, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait if he says this, I'll say, no. It's just, you say something and I, burn. That's what it's all about. Oh, there's some audio coming back from over here somewhere. I just, anytime I'm loud, I can hear it. I'm like, wait, what's that? Must be from my donate stuff. Oh, it is. All right. Well, guys, no other questions, no other stuff. Who's going to be there on Sunday? Everybody. And if for some reason you like can't sleep because you feel bad about not coming tomorrow, Nom, we'll be there at 9:30 and we'll be leaving at about 1:30. Greg and Tiffany are 50-50. Corey and Nicole are 100%. Roderick and Reese are also going with us. And I'm trying to think. Somebody else is meeting us there too. I don't know if Justin's going or not. I was going to ask him if he showed up today, but I haven't seen him. So I believe he'll have the kiddos. So I don't know if they would be interested. I mean, it can be fun if you're at all into cars, but if you hate cars or whatever, don't like loud noises, it's certainly not the place for everybody. So, anyways. All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate all of you for attending and hanging out as per usual. Much love to you all. Big shout out to Teflon and all of our Patreon donators as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. Last call. Last call. One last chance to ask a question. Better do it. Do it now. Laters, potatoes. All right, guys. Well, I know there's a delay, and some of you are probably even further behind than the 6 seconds, but I guess we'll have to save those questions if you have them for another day. I got dinner to eat and cars to wash. Head on over to any of our social medias. If you haven't already, please check out happythumbsgaming.com and or htgmerch.com. We'd love to see you at either or both. Big time happy birthday to Chacho today. And whose birthday is it? Callaway's birthday is tomorrow, right? Hayes, Callaway, tomorrow? Yep. All right. Happy birthday to you as well. As always, until next time.